This is a production of KMmedia.pro. Welcome back to Positive Talk Radio. Our goal is simple: to explore evolving ideas one conversation at a time. So come on over into our world. I know you'll like it, because on today's show, today we get to feature a Black Friday special for you all. Matthew Stapley is here. He's the Canadian psychic, and he is going to open up the phone lines, and we're going to take calls all day long. Well, for the next hour anyway. And we're going to have a really good time. He has become kind of a regular on the show, and we just love having him here because he really talks to you, and he talks to you from your heart and from his heart, and can really help you with. Hopefully Dana Parker is going to join us. We'll see. But if not, Nathan, how are you? How was your Thanksgiving, young man?
Oh, I'm so still getting over this turkey coma.
Did you have a lot of turkey, sir?
Yes, I kind of celebrated 2 Thanksgivings because on Wednesday with my young adults group, I had a Friendsgiving, and we had about maybe 10 people show up, and each person brought like pretty much enough food to feed like 5 people. So there's lots and lots of food, and all sorts of different countries are represented.
Well, and unfortunately, Canada has already had their Thanksgiving, which is in, now, is it a particular day in October? Is it like the 3rd or 4th Thursday or something?
You know, you'd think I'd know that, Kevin. In October. I never remember. I just get told by my family, like, hey, what are we doing next weekend? And that's how I know it's Thanksgiving. But I mean, the real Thanksgiving for sure is in October. And that's the one that we celebrate here in Canada. How was your Thanksgiving? Hopefully it was good.
Oh, it was very nice. I got to meet my son's new family.
Amazing.
And they are a couple of kids and of course his girlfriend, and we had a great time, and they're not really nice people. But I wanted to ask you, before we start doing calls, sure. I wanted to ask you this, because I had a friend call me at 8:00 this morning who was standing there beside himself because he was so upset with, Thanksgiving is when a lot of people get together and a lot of different viewpoints. And in this country anyway, right now, it's really is divisive.
Yeah.
How would you recommend that people go into Thanksgiving and recognizing that this is family and that they love them and that their viewpoints may be different, but they want to, we really want to get along and to keep politics out of it? How would you recommend people do that?
You know, it's a tough thing, right? Because on one hand, the only way to create positive change is to have hard conversations. But is it really a fruitful place to do that around the table at a special occasion? I think it depends on the family. Some families really do grow together and within themselves with a little bit of conflict and resolution happening. Other people, not so much. And it just becomes this big standoff blowout situation. And so I think the first thing is to understand, what are you walking into? Are you walking into a room where people are receptive to each other, even though they have different points of view? Or is everybody really tough on the things they believe in and they're not going to budge and it's just going to become anger? So I think if you are in the first situation where people can have conversations and grow together and, discuss things in a reasonable, loving way, then do that. I think if you are walking into a situation where that everybody is super hard-headed and immutable and it's just going to be a blow up, I think maybe creating some ground rules prior to the big day is a useful thing. And if one person just says, hey, you know what, we all love each other, why don't we just stay focused on X, Y, and Z? And that's one way to do that. I think that holidays already bring a lot of stress. And so if we're going into a situation that's already got kind of like a baseline stress and timing turkeys and mashed potatoes and all those things, and I think it's important to maybe save some of those conversations for another time. The other thing is that, and this is especially true in my community, the LGBTQIA 2+ at sign, I feel like there's new letters every day, but in our community, a lot of people are not welcome home for their family or with their family. And so they've created their own family groups, and that's called chosen family. And so for anybody that is just feeling like it's just harmful or toxic for them to go back to their birth family, for lack of a better word, then maybe declining that invitation and choosing the family that you're going to spend that time with, people that are nurturing and loving and kind for you. So I think it really depends on who you are and what kind of situation you're walking into and where you're at in your own path. That will decide what the best situation is for you.
Oh, I think that's beautiful advice, because the one thing that you don't want to have is that during the course of dinner, when everybody's sitting there around the table and everybody's talking, and then somebody says something and then nobody talks.
Yeah, right. Like awkward.
It could be so awkward when it's like, I don't think I like you anymore or whatever, and we need to love each other. And I couldn't agree
Absolutely.
with you.
Yeah, it's a hard thing. We can love each other and not like each other sometimes, but I think, for anyone who's on a spiritual path of growth, I mean, we're always learning how to surrender and then step up when we're meant to and when we need to. And, it's a tough call. And for anybody who's sensitive, those situations can be incredibly hard to navigate.
They can be indeed. And by the way, we are going to get off the phone numbers now for when a phone line clears, because the phone lines are full now, and they're all waiting for Matthew to talk to them, and we're going to do that in just a second. But Nathan, if somebody wants to give us a call or line up to give us a call, remember, when somebody drops off, that's the time for you to call in. And what number do they do?
And you can still actually call in right now, because we have actually one line still open. So you can claim that spot by calling 425-373-5527. And if you get a busy signal, just give us a call back when a line drops, and it should be able to get you through. And then we also have a toll-free number is 1-888-298-5569.
Matthew, do you feel up to it? Do you feel ready to go, sir?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
All right.
Alrighty, who's up first?
Let's
Nathan?
go ahead and take our first caller from the North Carolina. It is Caprice joining Positive Talk Radio with Kevin McDonald and Matthew Stapley. Welcome to the show.
Hi, guys. Thank you for taking my call.
Why, you're certainly welcome. We like having you from North Carolina. It's awesome. Caprice, welcome to the show.
I don't have a Southern accent. I'm actually from California, moved to North Carolina, so I don't have a Southern accent.
That's called culture shock right there.
I know. Well, thank you, guys. So I have a question, and it's kind of a weird one, so I'm putting it out there. I was wondering if Matthew could try to contact my dad and just ask him. I didn't know how to word this without just sounding abrupt, so I'm going to say it the way that I would say it to him. Why wasn't I enough is what I want to know. It all focuses on self-forgiveness that I've been told is my life path, but this is a question that I have for him. So I just wanted to see if Matthew can kind of help with that.
I will do my very best. And I don't think I'll try Kevin's Southern accent. I'll sound like Blanche Devereaux way too much if I do that. All right, let's take a look and see. So I want to start off just by tuning into your energy first, Caprice, if that's okay.
Yeah.
So the first thing that I'm seeing as I'm tuning into your energy field, there's a lot of different colors in your aura, but the one that's really standing out to me is a lot of orange and some red. And orange to me is all about releasing things. It's about letting go of old energy. And it's interesting because based on your question, I would have thought this would have been coming mostly off your heart because it's an emotional question, but it's actually mostly coming off of your solar plexus, which is like our health and vitality and strength and willpower and things like that. And so to see it releasing from there means that you are in a period of letting go of anything that has been constrictive for you and anything that has felt like it's just holding you in place. And I don't think this is new stuff as of like yesterday. I think this is things especially that have built up in the last 4 years or so. And I see that you're on the verge of releasing this. When I'm asking a father figure to step forward, I do get a man coming forward. I guess we'll find out in a second if it's him or not. But the man that's coming forward, I can immediately feel this discomfort in my abdominal area. So to me, that usually means that a cause of passing was at least partially in that part of the body. The other thing that I'm feeling is a lot in my chest area. So that's like heart and lung area as well. And I get the feeling that this man on Earth, I think that he was kind of a mixed bag. Like, I feel like he wasn't a bad person, but I also feel like he had a really constantly high stress level and a lot of inner tension, I guess you could call it. And I want to say that he himself did not have a particularly easy life. I don't think he had a particularly good younger years or growing up himself. I also I'm going to ask him your question, because whether it's your dad or somebody else around you, they'll still be able to answer it. But when I'm asking why, you're specifically, why wasn't I enough, but obviously in your shoes, I don't get a feeling that that was the case at all. This person is talking about their own exhaustion being pretty much constant, and they just did not have the brain power to embrace your creativity and your really amazing personality and things like that. So I don't think it had to do with not being enough. I think it had to do with them not having the brain power or the energy levels to really understand it. And so I feel like it's very important to let that way of thinking go.
Okay. All right. That makes some sense. I never looked at it that way. I may have just been too much for him to handle. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And I feel like I just want to say, this part of your path of processing these emotions is almost done. They're showing me that this wraps up like within the next 2 months. And I feel like when we go into even like by the end of January, I see a huge weight lifting off your shoulders with all this family stuff. You also have a woman around you that's passed on as well. And she comes in as much older than you. So this could be a mother or a grandmother. And as she's stepping forward, I can feel like my breathing gets weird and my lungs feel heavy and my chest feels heavy. So I think that she would have had some kind of an issue in that part of her body at her time of passing. I don't think that was her only issue, but it's the one that's showing up. The other one that's showing up is my mind just starts to feel really cloudy or foggy. So that's usually like neurological problems or brain issues or something. Whoever she is, she passed away a long time ago. She's showing me the number 17, so it could be the 17th of a month. That's important to her for birth, death, or something else of significance. She's also saying that she's really happy to see where you're at on your path, even though the road behind you has been a really heavy one. She says that that's about to change. Like, the new year is really a new chapter, and it looks like it's a 10-year long chapter. And it's one where you're actually going to just feel that spark of life come back. And that's something that I feel has been kind of dimming and coming back on and off for a long time. So it's been a bit of a roller coaster, but I see that roller coaster is just about finished, which is really good.
Oh,
so your path
good.
looks great. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good. That sounds like it might have been my grandma, my nanny. Yeah. She died from dementia, had lung problems, aspiration pneumonia. So I think that may have been her. My mom did die recently, but I feel like that was probably her mother.
Yeah. I can never tell you like who it was, but my initial feeling was that it was a grandmother type figure.
Yeah. I think it is. And I've been told she's one of my spirit guides, so I think she's very prominent around me. So that makes sense. Well, good. I'm glad she brought that in.
I agree.
Right.
The last thing that she showed me, was wisteria flowers. And so wisteria is all about like going within, and it's also about healing and emotional clarity and things like that. So I think as a symbol, this would represent actual like real forward movement on your path with all the things that you've asked about. So thank you for calling in.
Okay. Yeah, thank you very much for all your insight. I appreciate it. Thank you.
If I could add just one thing, is that in my experience, older men were brought up in a way that they don't express themselves well, and they don't really understand how to express themselves well. So it may have been misrepresented to you that you thought that he was one way, but he just couldn't get past and get out of his own way.
Yeah. In his age group, you're right, and that was him very much as well. You're right.
So don't own that. That's his. So you can let that go.
Yeah. You're right. And I've been working on letting that go. And people keep telling me I need to work on it. And I feel like I have been. And now I'm glad that I'm getting towards the end of that, because I feel like I'm holding on to it still, but I have been working on it. So Matthew just kind of said that roller coaster's almost over. So I feel like I'm getting there.
It looks great, honestly. End of January, I think you're going to feel like a brand new path, which is great.
That's exciting.
Good.
It is.
All right.
Thank you so much for giving us a call.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
See you later. Have a good day, down there, and have fun. And sorry, and Nathan, that opens up the phone line, so you can give us a call at 425-373-5527. But we've got another line ready to go, right?
And Kevin, I think that accent might be a little bit more appropriate for our next caller, Sherry, who is in the South Carolina. So we're gonna head over there and speak with her and welcome her to the show. You are live with Positive Talk Radio on with blah, 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 blah.
I am so glad to know that you're not perfect, young man.
Nobody is.
So Sherry, how are you now?
I'm okay. How are y'all?
We're good. We're good. It's a beautiful day.
Oh my goodness. I am just so excited to be talking to y'all. This has made my day already.
Well, thank you for calling in. What can we do for you, Sherry?
Well, I just, this is just like a really, really, really low point for me. I don't even know how to say this. And I've been trying to get a reading from Matthew, and I thought, I can't believe that I'm the second caller. But we are just having a very, very, very difficult time that started with COVID, and one thing led to another. We've been evicted. And in the midst of all of that, I have gotten sole custody of my, now 6-year-old grandson, and we're just kind of couch surfing, and I'm just wondering, what you might see, and, I'm just hoping that things get better quickly. And like I said, we're just having a really, really hard time right now.
All right. Well, I can totally look at that for you for sure. And thank you for calling. I'm glad that, I'm glad that you got through on the phone lines, because I've got a good feeling about this reading. All right. So as I'm stepping in, first of all, I can definitely feel your exhaustion for sure. Like as I'm stepping into your energy field, I feel totally depleted. You know what? This is going to sound really, really strange, probably. I am so happy that you got evicted, and I'm going to explain why. So when I was tuning into that whole situation, I felt like if you guys would have stayed where you were, it would not have been good. There's something about where you were living that doesn't feel right. Like it didn't feel healthy. It feels like the environment doesn't feel right. Like it's just something there. I don't know if it's like at a physical level where there's like a health issue in the house or something, but I just get this feeling like I'm really happy that you are no longer in that space. So that's part one. Part two, I do see that this is going to settle down. They are showing me December will continue to be a bit challenging, like this bit of a roller coaster, but I don't see that lasting long. And they're saying that when we get into the turn of the year, so December turning into January, I do see you moving into a place that's a little bit more stable, but it's not long term. However, when we get to March-ish, like right in that month, I think that is where I see everything starting to get a million times better. And I see a solid, stable home life. Now they're talking about a man that's alive, that's connected to you, that has been kind of going through his own mental, emotional battles, and possibly even something a little bit physical has been going on as well. And at a health level, he feels very exhausted to me as well. Whoever this person is, I see him also recovering from whatever it is that has gotten him down at such a physical and mental and emotional level. I can see that at the turn of the year, that begins to get better, especially in February and March. And so you guys are going to totally bounce back from this. I feel like your grandson is really gifted. His aura is like shining, vibrant, bright blue and white. And to me, that's somebody who's both a healer and also a medium. And I feel like he's super psychic. And I think you're going to be able to see that unfold. I also want to say that there may be a period where he is really tired or sleeping a lot or something. I'm being shown that that's him recovering from everything that came up to you getting custody of him. I feel like he is in very good hands with you, which is a good thing. You guys are also going to get some really positive money changes between June and August of next year. So June and August of 2023, I can see like more financial stability and feeling a lot better within that part of your life as well. They're also saying that there is a female who's alive that is younger than you that there will be healing with. So she will heal within herself. I think this is mostly at a mental, emotional level. But I can see healing coming for her, especially over the summer, but also healing coming between you and her. So this is somebody that is at a bit of an emotional distance right now. But I see that there's going to be a really good repairing and communicating that happens. And that's right around the beginning of summer as well. So I think that even though the last 6 months or a year or two, as you've mentioned, has been really hard, I don't see that lasting much longer. And I feel like you've got every reason to be hopeful. Your guides are also saying that it's important that you do let people in to help. They're saying that you're carrying guilt for people having to help you or whatever. And they're saying, let go of that part. These people are happy to do it.
Yeah, I'm always the one that helps everybody. If you needed money, you need a bill paid, you need somewhere to stay, you need something to eat. I'm that person. I'm not used to being on the other end of this, but I and I don't know if you're seeing anything like this. I had 3 children and now I've got 2. My daughter's the youngest and she's 29, and that's her son that I have. Mm-hmm. My youngest son, who was her older brother, hung himself from a tree in our backyard almost 5 years ago, and I haven't been the same person since. There's some things that a parent, it's not supposed to happen and you're not supposed to see. Mm-hmm. And I think the guilt from that has just really, I have been exhausted since that happened.
I think that type of exhaustion. So, when we're talking about grief, and especially grieving a child that we've lost, 5 years ago is like yesterday morning, really, or last night, right? Yeah, so it takes time. And then if you put on top of that, like all these other things that have been happening with your family and with your daughter and with you and your housing situation and all of that, to me, like it makes sense that you would not have had a chance to actually recover. Sometimes when somebody loses a loved one, especially if it's a child, they like crawl into bed for a couple of years, and that's where they stay as they're moving through those emotions. And I don't think you had the opportunity to do that at all. No, and so I think that's part of it. Now, as we're talking about this, I can feel a male stepping forward, a man in spirit stepping forward. And he comes in with such a beautiful heart. Like, I think he was kind of like a heart on legs in a sense, that I think he was like a very emotional, very kind, very sweet. I feel like he had the kind of personality where people just gravitated towards him. And I think he went through these periods of like being very extroverted next to periods of being very introverted. So like constantly going back and forth that way. And he's showing up with, I think this is probably just symbolic, but he's showing up with a white and blue hat on, and I can see water behind him, and water to me represents emotion. And I feel like when I'm seeing this vision, I get this sense of just total serenity and peace. And I feel like it's important that you let go of any guilt associated with this. He's also talking about the name Adam and Andrew, or Adam or Andrew. And I don't know where those names come in, whether they're people people he knew, people that you're going to meet in the future that will be helpful. I don't really know when I get names, I just get them. But I get the feeling that he wants you to let go of the heaviness that you're carrying. He also wants you to know that there is nothing that you could have done to change the outcome of all of this when it comes to him. So like, definitely, I feel like it's important to release that. He's also talking about a brown chocolate lab, like a Labrador Retriever. I don't know where that fits in. It could be something that is still to come, because I feel like this is very earth side. But I feel like whenever, I don't know if someone gives you this dog, if you find this dog, or what's going to happen with this dog, but it's going to be a bit of a healer for you, which will be very positive. Yeah.
Okay. Oh my goodness. Talk about a roller coaster, huh?
It is. I also want to say one more thing before we run to our next caller, but I feel, when you were saying that you're always the one to help other people and you're always the one to help with money or whatever, how good you feel when you do that for people? Know that?
I do.
Don't rob anybody of that feeling in helping you. Truly, like let them have that feeling by giving back to you. Don't take that away.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. I completely understand what you're saying. Where I'm just not. It just makes me feel terrible to, you know what I mean, to accept things and just to, be this low. And I just, oh my goodness. I mean, I hadn't looked at it like what you just said, it just makes me feel terrible that things have, just worked out this way. It's through no fault of mine or anyone else's. We're just, we're dealing with some pretty tough cards right now, in the deck, and it just, whew.
Well, I think that it's a blessing that people are stepping up to help you, and I feel like you shouldn't feel bad about it, and I feel like they probably feel great about being able to finally help you back. So I think don't try and rob them of that. All right.
Okay. I hear you.
Awesome. Well, it was really good to get to talk to you today. Thank you for calling.
I am so glad that I did, and you have a great day and happy holidays.
You as well. Many blessings to you.
And Sherry, thank you so much for giving us a call. We really appreciate it. And things are going to get better for you.
I'm so glad I made it through. I can't believe that I did. I just thought, what are the chances? You know what I mean?
Well, sometimes Sherry, I believe that sometimes things are destined to happen for a reason, and this is one of those times.
Agreed.
There you go. I couldn't agree more. Well, y'all have a great day and happy holidays. And thank y'all so much.
Thank you.
Take good care. That does open up a phone line for us. So if you want to give us a call, you can do that. Nathan, how do they get that done?
Just give us a call at 425-373-5527 or toll free at 1-888-298-5569. And like Kevin said, we do have open phone lines. So give us a call so you can get into the show.
It's amazing, Matthew, from where I sit. It must be really special for you to be able to help people the way you do.
I do feel really blessed about it, but the weird thing is 99% of the time when I'm done a reading, I don't even remember any of it. So, which is probably a good thing, but I do remember the people, that I get to keep the feeling of the person that I'm helping for a few minutes longer than the reading. And, I think our last caller, Sherry, she had such a big heart and so kind and loving. And when I get to help somebody that has that kind of just amazing vibe, that feels amazing to me because, obviously she has spent her whole life caring for other people. And even though her situation has been a really hard one, I so feel happy that so many people are stepping up to help her. And that makes me really happy as well.
That's really cool. So, Nathan, who do we got up next?
Our next caller is going to be local, and that's Renee in Seattle. Welcome to the show, Renee. You're live with Matthew Stapley and Kevin McDonald on Positive Talk Radio.
Awesome for you to be here, Renee.
Hi, Kevin. Hi, Matthew.
Hey, how are you, Renee?
I'm good. I'm just wondering if you could read my energy and then see if you could connect with anybody.
Sure. Yeah, we can totally do that. Let's see what we get. So, tuning in for you. So, all right. So, as I'm stepping into your energy field, so the first thing I want to talk about is your aura colors because they're very vibrant, which I think is really nice. So you've got a lot of very light yellow around your heart, and all of the colors that I can see with an aura, the shade means everything. And this is a very bright and vibrant yellow. So, to me, that always represents moving into a period of joy or a period of feeling content and happy. So that looks really good. The other thing that I see around this this yellow is a lot of green. And green to me is always about inward focus. It's about kind of stepping back from the world a little bit. And what I like about the combination of the green and yellow, it's talking about feeling really comfortable and happy and fulfilled and content within your own self, in your own space. So that looks really, really positive. And I feel like this is coming up like really soon and going through most of next year. It doesn't mean that you're going to be all on your own. It just means that all of the space that you create for yourself will be filled with a lot of happiness, which is great. The other thing that I can see in your aura is some darker red. It's towards the edge of your aura, towards the bottom of your aura. And to me, this represents like ungroundedness. It can be anxiety, tension. It's got a little bit of extra dark red. So to me, that's usually physical pain or physical tension, but it's off of your body. So to me, this means that this is something that isn't necessarily yours. And it is something that kind of passed through you because it can feel you're a very sensitive person, but I also feel like you're already releasing it. So if you've had a bit of a drained feeling in the last 3 or 4 months, I feel like that's what that color means, and it's already leaving. So things are going to improve a lot for you. I'm asking for a spirit message for you, and I'm getting a woman coming forward for you, and she comes in as older than you. So this could be a mother or a grandmother energy. And I feel like at her end of life, she lost a lot of physical strength. I feel like when some people pass away, they kind of look the same, in the last several months or years of their life, even till their moment of passing. But I feel like with this woman, she would have deteriorated quite a lot. And I feel like her physical strength went down quite a lot. And I feel like she was having issues with like processing information. I feel like she was having issues with engaging with the world around her or her environment. I also feel like she was having issues with like taking care of herself at a very, very basic life level. And I do not think this is a necessarily recent passing. She's also showing me the month of October is important to her. So this could be birth, death, or something else is significant. She's also writing the number 12 on my paper here through automatic writing. And to me, again, that could be a date or something like that. Whoever she is, she's around you a lot. She comes in from, I believe, your mother's side of the family. She's also talking about your life path in general. And she says it's very important that you begin to explore things that are actually interesting for you. She says that she doesn't want to see you in a period of boredom or a period of just, nothing happening within your path, even though I can see you going into this period of time where you're going to be very much enjoying your own company. She's also telling me that it's important that you fill that time with meaningful things, because she says that if you're bored, like it's not good. It's not good for you. So that is what I get for you.
Oh, that's fantastic. That was my mom.
She has such a peaceful energy. It's strange because the way that she showed up when she started coming forward, I could taste chamomile in my mouth. And to me, chamomile, it's such a calming, peaceful herb, right, as a tea. So I don't know why. I just kind of felt like that energy with her. It felt really positive to me.
Oh, that's wonderful. I appreciate that because everything you said was true.
Good. Well, I'm glad that you called in, and I'm glad we could make that connection for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Renee, thank you for listening to the show, and thank you for being part of it today. I guess she's gone away.
Went to go do some Black Friday shopping, I guess.
Exactly. And that does open up a phone line if you want to give us a call. We are waiting and ready for you. Matthew Stapley is here. He is the Canadian psychic, and he is a regular here on Positive Talk Radio, and he's done some really remarkable things. And as you can tell, he is world renowned, and he's known all over the United States, and people are very excited to talk to him. And so if you would like to talk to him right now would be a great time for you to do that, because we've got a couple of phone lines open. And if you want to give us a call right now, 425-373-5527 or 888-298-5569. As a matter of fact, Nathan is on the phone talking to somebody right now. So we'll talk to Jan in Iowa in just a second. But Matthew, I just wanted to say, thank you again for coming here. You add so much to the show.
Oh, well, thank you for having me. I always enjoy coming on your show. Yeah,
it's great to have you here. And Nathan, we've got another caller lined up ready to talk to Matthew.
And we are going to head over to heaven. Wait, never mind. That's not heaven. It's Iowa. And Jan is calling us. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Jan, how you doing?
I'm doing well.
Very nice. Matthew Stapley's right there, and he's ready to talk to you. What can I do for you today, Jan?
Okay. I've been having problems with my feet.
All right.
And I've been going to a podiatrist. The things he's trying are helping, but only for a short time.
Yes.
I was wondering, is that going to change?
Yeah, let's take a look at it. So obviously I have to give the disclaimer that I'm not a doctor or healthcare provider. So anything I see will just be based on spirit and psychic energy and things like that. But immediately when I tune into your foot, I see the word vascular. So to me, this means that it's not necessarily like a muscle problem or a bone problem or a joint problem. This feels like a blood flow issue that is just, yeah, it feels like it's a blood flow issue. I think that it is impacting joints and things like that, but they're showing me the primary thing with this is something, either blood flow or something with your blood. But I do see that, yes, this is going to get better. I feel like not all of the puzzle pieces have been discovered with this issue yet. And I feel like right at the end of January, beginning of February, I see you in front of a doctor. I can see that I don't think it's the podiatrist. I think it's somebody else. And I can see them wearing a striped shirt. I can see them being in their 50s or 60s. I can see square glasses. I can see salt and pepper hair. And I feel like I'm on the main floor of a brown health building or like a brown medical building. I feel like, I feel this person will be able to tell you exactly what's going on. And the good news is I feel like it will be fixable. They're showing me a combination of two things at one time. So I see that the treatment for this will in part, I think, be a medication that is short term. So not something that you're on forever. The other thing that I can see is something that they will tell the podiatrist to do or to help with. So I think you're totally going to overcome this. I think there's still some puzzle pieces missing, but I see them coming in sooner than later for sure.
Well, that sounds wonderful.
It looks wonderful, if I'm being totally honest. And, it feels like this issue has been slow going, but I also feel like when I go back to like September, October, that's where I start to feel really heavy. So if it started to get worse at that time, it wouldn't surprise me.
Okay.
All right. So keep going. It's going to get better. And once it gets better, it's not going to get bad again.
Well, that's wonderful. Yes.
Awesome. Thank you.
Keep on keeping on, and you're gonna be just fine.
Okay.
So, Jan, thank you so much for giving us a call.
Sure.
And have an awesome holiday weekend.
You too.
Thank you for calling, Jan.
And again, we're talking with Matthew Stapley. He is the Canadian psychic, and he's world-renowned, and he is here to talk to you. We do have a phone line open, so if you want to get in line, we're running out of time. We've only got... So if you're sitting there by your phone going, maybe I'll call. Well, maybe I won't. I should call. I'm scared. Don't be frightened. It's just us talking. And Matthew has got great bedside manner, and he'll take care of you. So Nathan, if somebody wants to give us a call, how do they do that?
Our call-in numbers are 425-373-5527 or toll free 1-888-298-5569. And to piggyback off of what Kevin just said about, calling in and being a little bit shy, sometimes you just need to say like 2 or 3 words and then Matthew's got it and then he goes to town. And that's all you need to do.
Someday we're going to get Nathan doing readings one of these days. I'm going to help him on it. We're going to figure it out.
So who's next, Nathan?
Our next caller is Katrina over in Tacoma. Welcome to the show, Katrina. You're live with Kevin McDonald and Matthew Stapley on Positive Talk Radio.
Hi, thank you guys for having me. Funny thing is, I just hopped in the car and, I just asked for a message and I turned my radio on and I pushed the scan button. It went straight to your show. And immediately I heard the conversation and I said, hey, this is an opportunity.
So this is, by the way, this is designed specifically for you. There's a reason why you're here right now.
Awesome. Well, thank you for calling in. And I always love to hear stories about how people find their way to a reading because some of the stories are super crazy, but I really like this way, Katrina. So what can I do for you today?
I've just had a lot on my plate and trying to find some direction. I feel like there's a lot of signs and things telling me something, and I'm not sure what. So I was just wondering if anything or anyone comes to you.
Sure. Let's do it. Let's see what happens. So I'm going to tune into your energy. Let's see. Whoa, you are carrying a lot of energy, my friend. And the reason I say that is when I tuned into your energy, the 2 colors that shone out the most were red and purple. And purple to me is always somebody who's very psychic sensitive. And then you also had like 3 shades of red. So one shade is like kind of a medium to dark red, which to me is always an anxiety. It's always a feeling of being overwhelmed and tired. And then the other color, though, is a really vibrant red, and it's right over your heart. And to me, this represents empathic ability. It represents being able to feel and sense the energy and the emotions of the world around you. And coming off of that, I can see these like little bits of really dark red. And so to me, this is talking about carrying the loads of the people that you've tried to heal within your life. And I see that has kind of built up over a long period of time. I don't mean like a couple days, I mean like 10 years. And so I do see that you are in the process of coming to the end of your current life chapter. And I feel like as this kind of ends, you'll go through a bit of a death period, which means that anything that isn't serving you anymore surfaces and clears out. And I feel like that's a big part of what I'm seeing in your energy field. All the things that you have carried that were not yours to carry in the first place, but you did because you're such a kind and loving person, are now surfacing so that you can release them. And I feel really good about that. I feel like there's about 4 months left of this in this process, but I don't see it being as hard as it has been for that entire time. In fact, I think it's going to progressively get easier once we pass. I see a Christmas tree. So once we pass Christmas, let's say, of this year, I see that lightening up significantly. They're also talking about healing your relationship with yourself, because I can see a broken mirror, which to me is always a symbol of not seeing ourselves clearly and not necessarily seeing ourselves in the best light. And I feel like one part of you has really worked hard to have good self-esteem and things like that. But then there's this other part that always feels like you should be doing more. And I see that also healing over the next 4 months. So that looks really positive as well. They're also talking about you embracing your own gifts and talents and psychic abilities and intuition and all of that. And I see that when we get into 2023, this is going to be like actually quite a big focus for you. They're also saying that around like April or May, or maybe even a little before that, they're showing me a move for you that's going to be a true blessing. So this could be like a move to a new home or a new city altogether. But I see that whatever that is brings a lot of blessings with it. Somebody named Caitlin is going to be on your path, as well as somebody named Andrea. And there's like a Jessie or a Jessica. These 3 names are coming into your path at the beginning of summer. So like, let's say June or July. And I feel like all 3 of these people are going to help you to awaken to your own abilities, gifts, and talents. I also see that at the end of August, somebody named Jeff or Jeffrey will be showing up in your path. And I'm going to say this could be around the 28th or 29th of August. And I feel like this person will be somebody that will kind of be like your last mirror that you're going to need for a little while. They're going to reflect things back to you. And I feel like it will be a moment where you'll be able to see how far you've actually come and how much you've actually grown. And that looks really positive to me as well. So yeah, your path looks really, really, really positive. And they're also saying that a lot of the healing that is going to be happening over the next few months has to do with relationships in general. So like family, friends, lovers, coworkers, mailmen, like whatever. I feel like it's going to be a full and complete healing of relationships, and it's going to shift your perspective in a very, very, very positive way.
Wow, that was so unbelievably on point. I'm blown away right now. And it gives me a lot of hope.
You know, yeah, I really think you should have a lot of hope. I really feel like if I can say that this difficult period has a really good outcome to it. Sometimes I think we have to go through necessary difficulties and old things surface and we work through stuff, and that's really, really hard. But once we get through that, things get really, really good. And that's exactly what I see happening for you.
Wow. Well, I appreciate your time today and this opportunity. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. I'm going to give you one last thing before you go, because just as I was stepping out of your energy field, some lady showed up. So let me see who she might be. So I can feel a woman around you. She passed away from something that spread through the body or moved around. So this can be cancer or something affecting multiple parts of the body. I would place her as older, but not necessarily super elderly. And I also am seeing an ocean with her, which to me means either it could be literal, like she was from near an ocean, or it could be symbolic, meaning that she was a very deep and vast person. I feel like she was incredibly smart. I think that she was one of those people that was a combination of warm and tough, like very loving, but also don't piss her off. And I feel like this is not a recent death. I feel like this is somebody who passed away quite a while ago. I also feel like I'm opening a big heavy book, and there's just tons of like pressed flowers and stuff like that in it. So I think either that's literal or symbolically she was somebody who collected a lot of things, and whoever she is, she's around you a lot. She's also placing her hand on your mid to lower back, and she's showing me healing going to that part of your body. So if you've been having back pain or back problems or whatever, that's also going to improve for you. So
wonderful. I need that.
Awesome.
Katrina, Katrina, I just wanted to add something. You sound sad. And it hurts me when you sound sad. So you've got a lot of good things coming your way.
She does.
Thank you. Yeah, I believe it, especially now. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you for calling in.
Yeah, I'll be following your show real closely now and be a follower. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much.
Nice.
And we really appreciate it. Matthew's here. If I can convince him to come back again, can I convince you? Can I come back again? Would you please?
Kevin, twist my rubber arm.
You are so much fun because you help people. And, I was struck by Katrina when she said that she just happened. It was a miracle. She just happened to tune in and hit the button, and she showed up here, and it was needed for her to be here, wasn't it?
I think that's honestly the way the spirit world works most of the time, is they just bring people where they need to go. And, a lot of people will ask me, or tell me rather, they'll say, I feel like I'm missing a message. Like there's a message that I'm supposed to hear and it's just not coming, or I can't hear it, or I don't get it, or whatever. And the one thing I always want to say about that is, if the spirit world has a message for you, you're going to receive it. There's no way you're going to miss it. It will come in whatever degree of intensity is required, whether it be a subtle feeling within yourself, or whether it be sitting there on the radio with the radio on and like hitting the scan button and finding out there's a psychic medium who's giving readings and then getting through on that call line. There's a million ways that this can happen. And a lot of the time, I think, we're actually always receiving messages from the universe or spirit or whatever ourselves directly without even realizing it. But if it needs to come through somebody else or something else, we're never, ever going to miss it. It will show up right on time.
I get the impression that if we trust, we trust that the messages are going to come through, they will find us, and they'll find us somehow.
I think trusting will make our experience of it easier. but regardless, the message is going to show up whether we trust it or not. It doesn't matter. But trust helps us to get through the unknown moments, right? While we're waiting for some kind of direction.
Absolutely. By the way, if somebody wants to call you directly, how do they get that done?
Not on the phone. They could follow me on Facebook, which is facebook.com/Canadian Psychic. And I'm live every Monday night doing free readings and messages like this for people in the chat room. I also go live throughout the week during the day just to chat and hang out with people and talk about crazy life stuff. I also do multiple different kinds of events. So like I do meditation and messages nights where I channel guided meditations from spirit and then do readings afterwards. I'm also teaching a psychic and mediumship development 6-week program in January, which is taught all online. And if anyone wants to learn how to do this work, I've got a lot of my past students are now working professionally in the field. So, I think that it's a really good environment to open up to one's own abilities and gifts.
I think that's great. And by the way, you think Nathan's got some ability that he needs to tap into?
Well, I mean, yes, first of all, everybody has that talent, and they just have to learn how to use it. But mostly I just want to see Nathan uncomfortable, to be totally honest, for like a second.
You did a fine job of that. But we've got one more caller, and we're going to probably make this our last caller. Nathan, who do we got?
We have Weston calling us from the Seattle neighborhoods. Welcome to the show, Weston. You're live with Kevin McDonald and Matthew Stapley on Positive Talk Radio.
Yo, Weston.
Hello.
Hi there. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Good. What can we do for you today?
Well, I've been planning a major move and a job change, and my teacher tells me I should make sure that I should go test the waters and make sure it's going to be the right move for me before I dive in completely. And I just want some help with maybe some information that you could intuit for me.
Yeah, sure. I'd be more than happy to. Have you been thinking about this since about August? Because that's what they're showing me first is the month of August.
Yes.
All right. So we just got to make sure we're on the right track then. So yeah, no, I feel like I get what your teacher's saying for sure. And of course, testing the waters, seeing if you like the area you're going to move to and the type of work and stuff. I feel like you have outgrown where you currently are. And it just feels like there is this, this needing of new ideas and new scenery and all of that. I totally get that. I feel like you are going to move. They're showing me that it's going to be a little bit delayed. They're actually bringing me almost to a year from August that just passed. So we could go into mid to late summer of 2023. And that's where I see you being really settled. And that looks really, really positive to me. So I think it's still going to take some time, but I feel like you will end up doing it and it will be really good. They're talking about feeling nervous about your independence or being in like a new space and being able to kind of handle it emotionally. And they're saying it will take time, but you are going to do really well.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome, Weston. Thank you for calling in.
Thank you, Weston, and you have yourself a wonderful day.
I will. Thanks.
Thanks.
Awesome. So, Matthew, we just got a few minutes left, and so I thought I'd take, some time here just so that you can, my brother passed away 2 years ago. My mother passed away last year. Have they been away long enough to be able to say anything encouraging or happy?
We can try. Let's see what we get. So let's see. All right. So I'm getting a man stepping forward, and he comes in as difficult, actually, as a person. So I think he may have had a very strong personality. I think he was a very loving human being, but I also get a very like either hard-headed or stubborn personality or something like that. He's showing me the month of November is important to him, or like that fall turning into winter period of time. So this could be birth, death, or something else of significance. I also feel like he would love to laugh, and I feel like he had a very big sense of humor. He's also showing me that his brain was wired a little differently than most people. So I think that he just had a different way of looking at the world, or a different way of thinking or learning or whatever. I also smell a campfire. So to me, that always means being in a really good space and spirit, because to me that's like relaxation and connection and just being at peace. I feel like his end of life, I get a very heavy end of life, if I'm being totally honest. I feel like the last part of his life came on fairly quickly, and I feel like it was very intense. And I feel that even though he had this passing that was kind of difficult, he was immediately at peace. I do feel a woman around as well. She's a little bit harder to connect with. I feel like she had the kind of energy that would want to take care of absolutely everybody. I get a very nurturing energy from her, but I also think that she had possibly like mobility issues starting or something like that towards the end of her path on Earth. I don't think that they were fully there, but I think they were beginning. I also feel like she had either lost a child or had a miscarriage or something, because I feel a baby, not your brother, but a small child also with her in spirit. And I can feel that. And this is going to sound strange, but I keep seeing a schoolhouse in the background. So I'm not sure if she was a teacher or what, but I can just see it. She's not telling me anything about it. I can just sort of see it in my vision. She's talking about you and your well-being, and she says that you have started entertaining ideas of new ways of taking care of yourself and your health and well-being. And she says that this will be good, but she says now's the time. She's saying now's the time to do this. And anyway, that's what I get for you.
Okay, Mom, knock it off. that would be my mom, and she's right. It's important that see, Matthew, this work that I do to bring you onto the show and to have people come to Positive Talk Radio, it's really, really important, and it needs to continue. And I've been shown in my own way that it ceases to continue without moi.
Yeah,
so true. I need to make it continue to happen. And if I'm dead, it can't happen no more.
No, otherwise you're just going to have to haunt the studio, and that's just not the same at all.
I know, and I will haunt Nathan because he deserves to be haunted.
I think that, I feel like you're going to make some really positive shifts for yourself. But they're showing me like the way she showed it to me was like rolling the idea around and setting it down, and then picking it up a month or two later and rolling the idea around and setting it back down again. And she's like, no, just like do it. It's easier to do it than it is to think about doing it, as weird as that sounds.
No, that's actually absolutely true. And by the way, Matthew is phenomenal. Let's go over your information one more time so that if people want to contact you and connect with you and get onto Facebook and all the things that you're doing. I just love how busy you are doing all of these things, and you carve out a little bit of time for us, and I really appreciate it.
Oh, I'm always happy to be on your show. You guys are so much fun, and the callers are always amazing, and I genuinely enjoy coming here. So thank you for having me. So people can find me at MatthewStapley.com. I'm most active on Facebook. So Facebook.com/Canadian Psychic. And I've got free live readings during the week at night. On Mondays, I have different types of live events, both free and paid. Courses, classes, meditations, all that good stuff. And most of it is done through Facebook or talked about on Facebook at least.
And we got to go, but I just wanted to say, Nathan, I can see him because we're on video, and he enjoys these shows as much as I do, I think. So he really enjoys the work that you do. And Matthew Stapley has been our guest, and he's going to be here next month. I will post that on Facebook and stuff. So thank you again for being here. And by the way, everybody, be kind to one another, especially during the holidays, because each other's all we've got. So we'll see you next time on Positive Talk Radio.